How to win as an investor with robots and AI. Please like, share and follow for more investment tips on my channel. So how can you win as an investor with robots and AI? So it's a worrying world at the moment. I've looked into recently the technology and just seeing what kind of jobs it can automate and what it can do. For instance, I challenge you to kind of look at your job and just consider, can my job be automated? So factory work, I think it can be. I currently work in a facilities role, and I've looked at, when I fill in inspections and do stuff on the computer like emails, etc. Do I actually need to do it? Can I save some time and get some AI to do it? Unfortunately, there's company policies where it doesn't allow you quite to do that. But with more adoption and more industry adoption, it's possible with the technology that's currently available, and it's going to obviously get better in the future, because there's AI updates all the time and how good it's getting, and it can automate emails, it can fill in check sheets for you, it can organise folders on your computer, just anything you can think like task-wise on the computer, even creating a website, it can do it for you. And that's just on the digital side. It usually takes a bit of time for the robotic side to catch up. It's easier to do the digital stuff first, and then the robotic stuff with Elon Musk, say, releasing them to the general public kind of next year. But yeah, this year is going to be more factory stuff, and then he's planning like massive rollouts in the millions. I know he does say lots of things, but so take it with a pinch of salt, the timelines, but he is actually currently working on them, and so is other companies. So eventually there could be robots everywhere. So you just got to consider really, what jobs would be available in that kind of future, when lots of things could be automated. There may be new jobs created, but I think there's going to be more managerial roles, like overlooking and overseeing what they're doing. As a business, you don't need as many people really. There may be like more human roles, where, say, entertainments, where people want humans there. Even like in welfare and looking after people and healthcare, there could be more humans there. But really, I think a lot of jobs can be automated. So as an investor, you want to kind of consider this and think, well, where am I investing at the moment? Is this investment a good decision? And say if there's people who aren't earning money, what's going to happen to them? So here's a few tips I've kind of gathered, and this isn't investment advice, you need to do your own due diligence, but it's a very interesting topic on the way we're going at the moment. So first off, well, how can we be paid if we're not working? How will we be paid? So there's a lot of studies in universal basic income at the moment. So universal basic income is basically a payment you'll get from the government, and it's unconditional on how much you earn, what your kind of walk of life is, etc. Everyone will get the same payments every month, every pay packet, whatever, from the government unconditionally, and it'll be the same amount. And this will help you with your basics, so like your housing, your basic food, drink, just the very basics really, and you'll get this money. And so how can this be paid? So for instance, they're currently looking into stable coins, governments are, and there's something called the CBDCs, the central bank digital currencies. And the reason they go into stable coins is because you can set up like smart contracts with them, and it's possible that the UBI will be paid with this. So you can set it up to say like it will go into everyone's wallets every time they want to give you the money, and it will be going in there straight away, instantly. The contract will be on it that you can only spend it on basic needs, so you can only spend it on housing, etc., on food, and you'll get this money, and then at the end of that pay period or whatever, that money will disappear and you'll get a new lot, or it will go back to its issuer, or we say you might not even be able to save any money from it, or possibly you can. So there's lots of different contracts you can put on this, which with standard money you can't really do that, and it's not that instant. So if they go into that, and there's all this disruption. Well, people will want to start saving hard assets. They want to be somehow saving their wealth and have some money. So we're looking at, like, gold. I think that's a big reason why it's gone up so much over the past few years, and why the governments are saving it, why the banks are saving it. And also not just gold, but like digital currencies, because this will be digital. You'll have, like, on the back of it, people want to own things like Bitcoin and things like that. So that could be a good investment opportunity, and that's kind of what you want to think of, set your mindset to. It's the same with, okay, well, we know, say, robots is getting better, AI, so invest in that, invest in energy places, invest in data centers. There's even chip manufacturing, all these things that could be affected and could go up in price. I've even considered, because I'm a big advocate for the S&P 500, and invest there. And you consider that and you think, okay, well, how well will this do? And I've asked, like, Grok, because it's a great tool to use, and say, well, how well would it do in this kind of scenario? In this scenario, it said it might not go up by much, if lots of people are losing their jobs. And to be honest, it doesn't, looking at it also, it doesn't take everyone to lose their jobs. Say, if it was like 10% of people who can make the payments, this will actually cripple the financial system. So it just takes like the 10% really, and it starts affecting people can't pay their mortgages, etc. So we don't need the 100%. So just bear that in mind. But yeah, the S&P 500 was like, okay, well, these companies could go out of business because it could be automated. So yeah, you might get like the likes of Tesla and the Magnificent Seven. They might do all right from it, but the other ones could drag the S&P 500 down. So that will mean you're not going to get as much gains. And the good thing about index funds is they do pick up companies that are, that aren't as good. They'll drop them and pick up the better companies, but it could actually drag the S&P down if a lot of people lose their jobs and companies are going under. So you might be better to invest in something like the Cathie Wood sort of investment index funds like ARK, because she's heavily focused on these innovative technologies like robotics and etc. So possibly she's a better person to put your money in. I think she was saying like 30% returns per year she's hoping, where the S&P 500 has been about 10%. I want to kind of consider this really, because we are going into this world now, and there's a lot of ways, say possibly Bitcoin, gold, and then you've got robotics and AI, and all these things really could do well, and the others might not do so well. But there's other technologies out there, and things might go a different way. There might be more jobs, but not like there's much kind of worry from the government at the moment. And maybe they're not worried because it's all going to be fine. But in the background they are testing these things, and like the stable coins, etc. So it's worth looking into, because I think it's going to happen sooner than you think. And when you can think about what can be automated at the moment and how your job can be automated, and when the institutions adopt this technology and the policies get better, then there might be a bit less for you to do, and hopefully there won't be everything what you can't do, because even looking at what can it automate, well, why can't they just get rid of, like, say on the facility, why can't they just get rid of the facility and have it all automated? You don't need anyone really looking after people, because it can all be automated. So it depends how far down the rabbit hole you go. But I don't think it's all doom and gloom. There's a lot of positive things that can come from it, and eventually we could potentially just move away from money. So that's the other scenario, but that's more in the future. So yeah, it's worth definitely looking into as an investor and thinking, how far is my money going to go if I put it in here? But just make sure you do your own due diligence, and make sure you hedge your bets a bit. Don't just rely on one kind of thesis and you go down there. Just make sure you do hedge your bets, and you consider lots of things, because we can't all predict the future, but we can kind of see roughly where it's going. So hope you've liked this video. Please like, share and follow. And if you're interested in investing, please watch this video next.